So back in November of 2019, we here at Nebraska Wildlife Rehab got a call from a Nebraska Game and Parks officer from north central Nebraska. And he had picked up a young bobcat who had been hit by a car the night before. We took him directly to the vet where x-rays revealed that he had a badly fractured femur that was near the growth plate, which made it an even more dangerous injury for a young animal to have. Despite the severity of his injuries, we realized that that young bobcat had an amazing will to live. And because of that, it made sense to at least try to do a surgical intervention and fix his fractured leg. After consulting with our veterinarians and the veterinary surgeons at Sirius Veterinary Orthopedic Center here in Omaha, we were able to make a plan. He went into a surgery which ended up being over 4 hours long. Dr. Dirsko von Pfeil, the veterinary surgeon there, realized that once he got into surgery, that the bobcat had an old leg fracture. We thought it had happened when he was hit by a car, but likely he was injured more than a week prior and then was hit by a car again because he wasn't able to move across the road quickly due to his fractured leg. We knew as a team of veterinarians and a team of staff at Nebraska Wildlife Rehab that it would take a lot of effort to get everything to fall directly into place so that the young bobcat could be released back into the wild once again. Our first challenge was to find an enclosure that would keep his movement restricted but also be safe. So we contacted CDE Caging here in Omaha, and they were able to quickly custom manufacture an enclosure for Dirsko the bobcat that would allow him to get as much movement as he needed, but not so much that he could injure himself, and also protect our staff when they were cleaning the cage or medicating him.
Dirsko, our little bobcat, has recovered pretty well. I was very concerned that he will not be able to be as quiet, that the implants will back out, that things will fall apart. But he's healing nicely. He's moving the leg, he has good range of motion, he doesn't have any signs of complications, but there's still a little millimeter that I want to be totally healed before we let him go back out and move around more. So we will do a little bit more controlled environmental enlargement of space where he can move around, and then hopefully in 4 weeks he will be fully healed, and then we can go back into a more normal lifestyle and hopefully at some point be out in the wild again.
After several months of recovery and several rechecks at Sirius Vet, we were able to move Dirsko into an even larger enclosure to facilitate his rehabilitation. That allowed him more movement, space to build up his muscles, and also to get range of motion back in that leg. And every step of the way, he exceeded our expectations and the expectations of his veterinarians. The leg healed really, really well, and after several months, it didn't even appear like he had ever been injured. And luckily, he also retained all of his wildness as a bobcat, which is critical for him to return to the wild. When searching for a fantastic release site for the bobcat near his original home range, we were able to contact friends of ours in north central Nebraska, and they allowed us to release the bobcat on an over 5,500 acre ranch that is protected from hunting and trapping. We didn't know if he would take off like a shot or if he would be cautious, but what we all really knew is that he was healed perfectly and absolutely ready to be a wild bobcat again. And so that morning, we opened the door, and it didn't take long before he realized that he was free again. And he simply slipped off into the woods quietly, just like any wild bobcat would. And that was the moment that made it all worth it. All of the getting up every 4 hours to give him medication, all of the cage cleaning, all of the veterinary visits, all went to that one moment when he could return to the wild and the life that he deserves. Rescues like this bobcats would not be possible without the support of people just like you. Today is Giving Tuesday. If you are able to make a donation to help Nebraska's native wildlife, please go to our website at nebraskawildliferehab.org and click on the Donate Now button. Your support is so greatly appreciated.